everybody, Steve here. Well, we're continuing on here with the 72 short box. The inside of the box, we got that in primer, and now I got to finish the rest of the outside. So that's the fun part, because that's when it gets close to the end. So that's the best part. But it's got a few dents yet, a couple issues. We got a little bit of rust at the very bottom. But I got a couple days before I get my rotisserie back on this one. So I'm just going to take care of some of the dents. I'm hoping this, got a pretty good dent there. Oh, there goes one of the nails. So I'm hoping that I can pull it with the stud gun. I don't have to weld on a bolt. Down here I had to weld a bolt on. It was a nasty. But I got that one. So I'm just going to clean up the back sides here, get all the stuff that I can get where, you know, the rotisserie isn't going to be a benefit. And, you know, slowly but surely, we're going to get this thing done. It's going to be awesome. All right, a few more nails. I have to bend over for that one, I guess maybe I'll use a magnet. No success on that one. Wow. Metal's tough. I pulled it a little bit. Not enough though. Now it's coming. It's pretty good. I had to weld 7 bolts on this dent here to pull it out. It was a fairly large one, but that metal's so thick that, you know, the stud gun just doesn't have a chance. So before I move my welder over to the other side, I want to take care of a couple of nasties. I got one right here. On the other side I had to cut it with the grinder. I'm hoping I can maybe pull it. We'll see what happens. I got one there and I got one right here. So we'll just weld the bolt on and see what we can do. felt very good. Now I got a hole to weld up. But it pulled the dent out. I think I can pull it now with the stud gun. Give this one a try too. Pretty good. Happy with that. So this side over here, it's got the same dent as what the other side had, so obviously backed into something. Somebody did. Oh, we'll pull it out. I don't like that bolt. We'll go find another one. Another one here. Battery is just about to die. So I'll file this up. Might not. Oh, you're gonna miss me sanding. Darn it all. Hopefully we can get this all in one shot here. And then we can move on to the sides. I'm gonna get the other side done too. I got a battery on charge right now, so. good so far. You know, even if you have, you know, let's say this has been damaged and some people will replace it with a new piece. You know, that reproduction stuff, you still got to body work it. So you might as well put the time in and straighten this one out, make it look good. It doesn't take too much. Well, I'm all batteried up now. Next day, that was pretty rookie. Gotta always make sure you got an extra battery, but mine wasn't charged, so you guys missed out on me sanding. Your loss. But anyway, what I do with these ones here, anytime there's some curves or anything like that, I like to sand them with, you know, 80 grit. It's a little bit nicer, you don't cut too much out. And I just roughed it out with some 40, and then I'm just gonna finish it off with some 80 grit. And it's looking really, really good. I gotta finish this all up yet here, but I'm happy, and now I can put it back on the rotisserie and start moving around the truck, getting this lower stuff. We got some rust repair to do on some of the bottoms, but those are the things you just gotta do. It's an old truck, but we're having fun. So I'm just gonna finish this up and then we'll catch up to you. We start hammering dents, some of the cool stuff. Well, we got her on the rotisserie. Didn't film it because needed the room and I didn't want to risk the camera taking a beating as it is. But time to start pulling some dents. I'm hoping this is going to be a little thinner. Now this has all been sandblasted, and I find that if I buff it a little bit, my nails stick better to it. Kind of gives you a gauge where to put your nails. Yeah, a lot of dents on this thing. Some of this stuff you might be able to pound out, but there's braces and there's kind of everything in behind here. So, no, can't do it. From about here down, if I can get to it with a hammer. Darn it. All right, let's throw some nails on. I have a lot more control pulling a dent with these nails than if, let's say you were going to take a bar, get in there and start hammering on things. Doesn't seem to work as good. Then you can end up going a little too far, stretching the metal. Well, that feels pretty good. I can get a dolly in there so I can tap it back if I have to, but I think I got her pretty good. Seems a little floppy here. That's because I haven't got this brace welded on at the bottom. We took those off to fix them. Now I'm working on this dent. It's funny how this dent is very similar to this dent. And I'm wondering if somebody just backed into something, drove forward, and then hit her again. I don't know, but we gotta deal with it now. Well, when you got the tools, it gets a little easier. You can't really get in there to hammer this one out. Same as this one. A stud puller makes an easy job. And it's pulling pretty good. This metal isn't as thick as the stuff that's up here. Like I was saying, I didn't measure it, but I'm assuming just from the way it's pulling. Very similar one right here. So now I'm just kind of assuming that, you know, they hit the toolies. Couple branches, I don't know. But every dent's got a history. Another story. Could have been worse. Nails. I got the dents pulled. Everything's pretty straight. We still got a weld on a brace over here. You'll see that in a bit. But I got an open wound here. A little bit of rust. You know, looks like the brother tried to weld up a couple here. I don't really like that. It's a little shoddy. I want to keep that to a minimum. Hey, it held its shape. And I just had this laying around from another project. Worked out good. So I just use the tape here as an alignment tool, just so I get a nice straight line, because it's hard to go around a corner. And it seems to be working out pretty good. You know, you'll have to do a little bit of tweaking to make everything right. So I'm just going to set her in. Move that a little bit. And then I can just, I'll just tack it, confirm it, weld her up, and done. I'll leave it on for a second. Make it easy on me. Here's a chisel. Okay, that's gonna be pretty good. This is, I got a couple of rust pits here. I'm just gonna weld them up. They're not too tough to do. And then we're gonna weld this brace onto here. You can see the holes here. Clamp her in, make sure she's aligned. I don't think there's anywhere that can go. So we'll just take care of a couple of these pits, and then we can get on to grinding. Don't be afraid to spend a little bit of time with the Dumore and get those rust pits cleaned up best you can. So down along the bottom here, I'm using a fiberglass reinforced filler. And you know, the way I look at it is, why not? This is going to take the abuse of just a little bit better than just your regular filler. So, a little tougher to work with, but not that bad. One thing with this stuff here is you don't want to let it get hard. It's tough to work with after that. You gotta love sanding more than I do to sand this stuff. It's pretty tough. But not impossible. A lot of times you're doing some body work, you know, you'll throw this stuff down first, you know, if you've done a bunch of welding. And then just use the orbital on it. It's kind of nice. Because you're going to finish it with regular filler anyway. Got a couple high spots here I think I'm gonna pound those in. Make my sanding a little easier. This actually looks pretty good down here. Just a little bit of filling to do, but you always want to go over it again when you use that fiber glass reinforced stuff. Now I got a little bit of a high spot here, and I don't want to hammer that down. I want to shrink it. Got a couple of spots here where there'll be pinholes, so let's pop those. So I'm going to shrink those guys, and then we can kind of keep on going here. Got a little bit more grinding to do up here. Another coat. Now let me show you what I do with this. So what I do is basically just take my zip cut, just go really light all the way along. And then what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll finish that with a piece of sandpaper now. So that before I go and start filling all this area in here. This is low in here, got a high spot right here. So I'm gonna deal with those ones, same time I deal with this one. And this one here, I'm just gonna have to get in there and kind of hammer this out a little bit. Just take my time. On the little lip, I'm just using a hammer like this. Made sure that I rounded it so I don't put any sharp creases in. Tightened her up real fast. couple of good dents on this side here as well. Just checking with my straight edge before I pull the nails off. Do a little bit more, I think. So, hammer on that some more. That's pretty good. Much better. Still got a couple more to go here, but it seems like every time you put your hand somewhere you find another dent. But these old trucks, you know, they did a lot of work. Another one right there. This one here needs a bit more work. But we gotta fix it up. They don't make these things anymore. Well, I guess you could buy a brand new side, but that would be just cheesy. They're so thin and you still have to do a bunch of body work to them to make them look pretty. But I'm pretty impressed with these Ford boxes. They're pretty tough. But they're also tough to work on. Alright, let's see what we got. Yeah. A lot of pulling left to go there. Time for some filler. You know, when you're working on these little jobs, you know, when you got the rust pits and you know, when you're cleaning them up and you almost get a little paranoid, you know, that one of them's gonna come back, so you end up doing a little bit more welding than you think. And I did a couple more. You know, you look at them, and if they look a little bit suspect, hit them with the welder. If you blow through, you know you did a good job, or the right decision, that's for sure. You don't want them coming back. You know, we want to do a nice job here. You know, this truck's up for sale. So, and I think it's kind of nice that, you know, if you really want to, you can just say, hey, go to my YouTube channel, you can see how the build went. That way there's no questions. I mixed up a little bit too much again. That's a bad thing. This stuff's getting expensive. But we'll use her up. You know, when things are a little easier because of the rotisserie here, you always end up doing a better job. So anytime you can make life easier, things are just going to be better. I spent my time on a creeper doing these bottoms, so paid my dues. So I never really finalized this little spot over here. And I'm just slightly down yet. That one's not too bad. But they're just a little bit too low for my liking. So I'm gonna throw a couple more nails in. Now that we got this brace welded in here. You know, this isn't gonna move as much, so might have a little better luck pulling. All right, let's see what happens. Couple more, should be able to get her. You know, these nails, you know, if you're serious about auto body, you gotta get a nail gun. They are just the greatest. I remember I bored one time, you know, 35 years ago, and I just couldn't believe that something like that existed. And it was huge. It was a few more years since I bought one though, you know, after I bored one. Because they're expensive, and you know, the old days used to drill a hole, you know, put your slide hammer in there, and then, well, if you felt like, you know, welding them up, you could, but most people don't. I did. I filled the holes, but a lot of people didn't. When you do enough auto body, do enough repairs, you see that shoddy work. Just taking care of just all the edges now on this on the passenger side. Darn near done. So I'm gonna stroke the whole thing real lightly with some 80 grit just to kind of knock down the sanding scratches a little bit, and then I think we're ready for primer. So I think that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.